Hello, I'm Dave Peach, and this is the Crawfordsville Peachcast, sponsored by Tri-County Bank, your community bank since 1892. See them in person or at tricountybank.net. Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. Crawfordsville Peachcast. We are presented by Tri-County Bank, your community bank since 1892. Also sponsored by your good friends at Zahn's Flooring and Design Center and BK Home Improvement and Central Indiana Rubber, CIR. Hello, Todd, and hello, Jeff Nelson, joining us. We're going to talk about the big game and more here on the Crawfordsville Peachcast. How are you, Jeff?
Well, I'm just great, but the first thing we've got to say is hello, Todd.
Yeah.
We've got to start with that. Doing great, Dave. It was a long slog back from Philadelphia after the NFC Championship game, but, folks who have been reading my column for 20-some, 30-some years understand that if I didn't have a miserable time getting to or from somewhere, then I wouldn't have anything to write about. So, no, doing great. Looking forward to, a trip to New Orleans and looking forward to all the good things coming up.
Wow. Philadelphia handling the Washington Commanders. Offensive game, over 50 points. What is the takeaway as far as Philly?
Well, there's about 4 or 5 of us that wore out a couple of record books in the second half of that game. We were chasing, and that's how those kind of games can get. One, saying, hey, we got to double. What about this record? Number of touchdowns scored, number of rushing touchdowns, number of points and a half or a quarter, and by a single player, things like that. So all of a sudden, everybody's chasing another record, and we're looking stuff up, and you can't get the stuff on the computer screen. You can't get it up on the TV fast enough. You can't get it to the announcers fast enough. That's how good a game it was. We were breaking records just about with every snap of the ball. It was crazy good. But, at the end of the whole day, the most important line was that Washington turned the ball over 4 times. Philadelphia turned that into 4 touchdowns. You take all those 28 points, away, and it's a 25-23 ball game, and all of a sudden it's a way different story. So the turnovers were just crucial. They happened. Two of them were in such short territory that Philadelphia had only 1 or 2 plays to score. They were just truly team mind and backbreakers.
Kansas City over Buffalo once again. I can't watch Buffalo post-game press conferences. I don't even want to go on the internet and find out the mood of the folks in Buffalo because to me it's it's just something your heart goes out to them.
Totally. And Dave, you and I are old enough to remember the 0 for 4 in the Super Bowl. And of course, I know Pete Metzelaars really well with all of the work he does and has done with Wabash. And I've called him up for many different stories that I've written and things of that nature, and consider him and he's a wonderful man, a wonderful person. We remember the 0 for 4 in the Super Bowls there. Well, now they're 0 for Mahomes. Yeah. And they couldn't get by. They couldn't get by that thing way back when, and now it's just like there's just a general, I hate to use the word curse, but it's just that there's just this, why the poor Bills, just one little tiny minuscule step to get over the top, and it just can't happen.
Man, they have definitely gone through a lot when it comes to their games against Kansas City. A lot of people are comparing Pat Mahomes to Michael Jordan or LeBron James.
I don't mind using him in a sentence, in a comparison kind of thing, because Patrick Mahomes does things in a game that Michael Jordan did. I think of him, and I mentioned to you also one time, I think of Mahomes a little bit more like Larry Bird or Wayne Gretzky, because he doesn't have the superior athletic ability. Jordan put the Bulls on his back and carried them to 6 championships. 2 or 3 players that would be no names. They wouldn't even be the answer to our trivia questions, are all-time NBA players because they played with Michael Jordan. He literally was that good. But Larry Bird was so smart. Wayne Gretzky was so smart. They knew where the puck or the basketball was going to be 2 or 3 plays ahead. Mahomes doesn't necessarily know what the play will be 2 or 3 plays ahead, but he knows where everybody is on the field. He's got 7 senses of extrasensory perception, and he's running this direction, and all of a sudden he flips the ball backwards, underhand, over his head, through his legs, and there's Travis Kelce. There's somebody else to catch the ball. Not whether it's a pass or whether it's a lateral or just, this spot's going to be open. He's magic. He's just magic, and he just makes things happen, and that's what has been such a bane for Buffalo. They do all the good things, and it just can't stop Mahomes.
Jeff Nelson is on his way to New Orleans for the Super Bowl, the big game, Kansas City and Philadelphia. We'll talk about it in depth and more on the Crawfordsville Peach Cast right after this.
Bazing. Wow, that's fun to say. Bazing is Tri-County Bank's Smart Rewards checking account. With Bazing, you have cell phone protection, ID theft protection, roadside assistance, discounts at area businesses, and more. This is Bria French. Contact me or any of our great employees to begin your entry into Bazing banking. Terms and conditions may apply. Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Jeff Nelson, stat man to the Stars, on his way to the big game. How many of these have you worked?
Well, Dave, this will be my second with Fox in the booth with Kevin Burkhardt. We did the exact same 2 teams 2 years ago in Phoenix, but it will be my 5th Super Bowl overall having worked. I was involved in graphics production and big screen production with the Super Bowl in Indianapolis, and then I also did stats for, I believe it was ABC both times. I think it was ABC both times in the 2 games played in Detroit. One of them was a truly memorable weekend. I went up there and was going to do extra stats, because they've got like 25, 35 extra people doing every job, not just stats, but every job. And I had done a Purdue game on Saturday, on the day before the Super Bowl.
Is this Pittsburgh versus Seattle?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
And so I had a hotel room. I was going to drive up after the Purdue game, and it snowed here, and it snowed more all the way to Detroit. And it was a fight all the way to the hotel, which was way northwest of downtown Detroit. So I get in at like 3 a.m, and crash. And I was actually in a hotel room with 2 or 3 other guys, and so at about 6 a.m. the door knocks, and it's a production person, a supervisory production person. Hey, Jeff, yeah, what? You're used to driving in this weather. You're from South Dakota and you're in Indiana, there's so much snow. We need you to be a chauffeur. We need you to drive a van and run people from clear out here down to Ford Field. So I ended up making like 5 trips that day before I then got to stop and then go to work. And thankfully I didn't have to drive a bunch of people back because they had made other arrangements. But it was the snow plows were out, and it was snowy and icy and sloppy. But I hauled people back and forth in about a 12-passenger van and got a whole bunch of people to work down to Ford Field. So yeah, I was 5 Super Bowls, 5 as a stat guy, 1 as a chauffeur.
And great memories there. And you'll do anything, Jeff, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no. That's no problem at all there. I mean, it's just you get a press pass or you get a free hat out of the whole thing, and you're working. It's ironic though, as time has gone on, people say, oh, what's such a deal about working the Super Bowl? You reach a point in time, and we really reached that 2 years ago when I was my first one sitting in the booth, sitting next to the guy who's doing play-by-play. You can't sit down and say, oh, there's 100 million people going to be watching what we're doing, because that can freeze you right up. It's another game, at a point in time, 20, 30, 60, 80 minutes, whatever it is before. And we did that. We got into our 90-minute pregame ritual, and we pretty much do the same thing. We're checking. I'm watching the kickers. We're checking guys on the field. We're checking to make sure everybody is in the. Make sure that which guy is 86 and 88, because they wear different color uniforms with red versus, or not red, or dark versus white, and Kevin and his spotter Mitch are going through, hey, this guy's wearing green shoes versus black shoes, or he's got dreads and the other guy doesn't have dreads. It's a little sort of thing that, Dave, you as a play-by-play guy, and I've done some play-by-play. You do that, especially in football, when you got 22 people out there. How do you differentiate a guy? How do you differentiate a player? Because when they're all moving and flying around, it can get to be pretty tough. And sometimes those numbers, 11 and 17, 86 and 88 are the worst. 86 and 80, 88 and 80 are that way. Especially if the numbers are not in nice, clear, bold, they use this wavy, these wavy fonts and stuff like that. It looks pretty on TV, and they're terrible for spotters, But we go through the whole routine, and we get done, we get ready, and at 90 minutes or so before the game, we all stop. Nobody else gets in the booth. We are getting ready to do the next, not a big game, not the Super Bowl, not anything else. It's just another NFL game, and that kind of helps keep you focused.
Now, I've seen pictures. It looks like I'll call it the core. What are they, like 20, 25 people that are kind of hanging around the announcers, getting them ready, and
that's about right. It really depends on the size of the booth. I know a whole bunch of people have mentioned to me, at least, they saw me or the last time I got on national television was on Thanksgiving Day in Dallas, and that's a gigantic booth, and everybody, there was room for everybody there, and there were about 25. Well, that includes three of Tom's security guys, and a couple of runners, and then audio and video people and stuff like that. So in New Orleans, that booth is not nearly that big. There are going to be major space, implications there as far as where people sit and stand and that sort of thing. So 15-ish maybe or so. But yeah, by the time it's all said and done, it's just, this person, that person there, and everybody's got a great job to do, and everybody works hard, and away we go. But yeah, there's not a lot of room to bump. You turn around and you're gonna bump into somebody. I've got in Philly, I turned to my left and bumped, and there was the hairstylist that Fox travels for our guys. So not that I need a hairstylist, but anyway, she's there.
Now, when do you get there?
I'm going to go on Wednesday night before, and that was dictated by Fox. They've got, amazingly enough, hotel rooms are pretty much at a premium, and the hotel rooms that they've got are pretty much at an expensive premium. So I'm actually going to, I was going to go a day earlier. I wanted to go Tuesday, and they said, no, you can't go till Wednesday. And it's actually going to be Wednesday night. Because I want to go to the World War II Museum. I'll have a little free time on Thursday, and then Thursday night. Then there's a first production meeting that involves me. There will have been production meetings with others, with the technical crew and that sort of thing like that. Friday's a full blown. Everybody in the booth has to be at the booth, so that we can adjudicate out space. Here's where Kevin and Tom are going to stand. Here's where this extra camera is going to be. Here's where the stage manager can stand. Here's where Jeff gets to sit. And how much room does Jeff need for his charts? And how much room will they give Jeff for his charts? Some cases, it's not the same. Some cases, you got all kinds of room. Some cases, no, you got 1 square foot of space, and you're going to have to stack stuff up and work on layers. That's the way it works. But that's on Friday. Friday night is a mandatory production meeting with the entire crew, just to make sure that everything is there. Then on Saturday, then the announcers, Tom and Kevin and people have got a million things that they're committed to, that Fox has committed them to, sponsor stuff and all kinds of other things that they do. But then on Saturday, we will do one more rehearsal, and that includes that rehearsal on Saturday. If it's the same as Phoenix anyway, that will also include when we'll try and travel to the stadium, because we've got drivers, and travel routes and things like that, and they have to get, in some cases, we have to get police escorts to get to and from the stadium, that sort of thing. So it's a full-blown rehearsal on Saturday, when, where, why, and how. Get to the booth.
Including the trip to the arena?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Try and do it at about the exact same time, so that if a bump happens, if a hey, there's traffic right here. There's this right there. There's that right there. They can say, well, this has to be addressed by tomorrow, so that it can all run through. And then we get to the stadium, and then we stand around for a little bit, have a cup of coffee, maybe a cookie, and then we're done. And then Saturday night is the last production meeting, and the production meeting normally, on Saturday night before a Sunday game involves 25, 28, 29 people, sort of thing like that. There'll be 140 at this production. It'll be in a giant ballroom at a hotel, and it will include every big shot from Fox, and it'll include a couple sponsors, and it'll include a couple former players, and it'll include people that this is Dave Peach, and they'll say, well, who is he? Well, he's a big sponsor. He's a big this. He did this a long time ago or something like that, and that's on Saturday night. The scenario there is that we'll have gone through almost all of that, and then on Sunday it's then get up and try and be as routine as possible, and then we'll get to the dome at least 4 or 5 hours early, and mostly because it's just there's gigantic issues with security. It'll take an hour. It'll take an hour to get through security just to get into the arena. So you have to plan for all that and add to it.
Yeah, particularly. I'm sure New Orleans is sensitive to what.
Well, with everything that has happened there, with that tragedy on Bourbon Street, there's no question about that. But just from the standpoint, even in Indianapolis, I mean, even when clear back 10 years ago, there was just gigantic, because they cordoned off the entire block around the dome, and because of where the dome is at physically in New Orleans, they'll have to cordon off at least an entire, and by doing that, they will just torch traffic patterns, because so much of the traffic has to get in and around that area, and by not allowing any of that traffic except for just very, very few security vehicles, it's going to make things real difficult to get around. So that New Orleans has done enough Super Bowls. They've done this before. They haven't moved the dome. It's in the same place it's always been. So they've done this sort of thing. So that's the good part about it. They've done it before. It doesn't mean it's any easier.
What kind of food will you have? Do you know restaurants in New Orleans? I'm sure you've been there so many times. Are there places you go that, I'm going to go there when I go to New Orleans?
Well, there are places that you go, but then there are some places you just can't get in. Just about everywhere will have reservations. So as far as I know, as of right now, and of course plans can change, and I don't get involved, don't get all that data until the last minute. Usually probably on Thursday night, there'll be a restaurant that somebody really likes. It's a place that Tom Brady knows, or has a friend who's part owner, or a place that Kevin has been before, or Aaron Andrews has got business interests, or a friend, those sort of things. And then there are just some places where you just always go. When you're in New Orleans, you just go to this place or that place, and they know that, and they know that from the friendships. And those people will have known from a year ago or 2 years ago that Fox is going to be in for the Super Bowl. We're good friends with this A crew. We know that they're going to be here on Thursday night, and they will reserve half the restaurant, from like 7 to 9:30 p.m. or something like that, and then you go. So we'll catch up. There'll be a fun opportunity just to go to a couple places, and then some of the other things just end up, because it's so busy, because there's so many other people and there's so much other stuff going on. Some things will just end up getting catered, and so and that works out okay too, as long as I don't have to cook.
A lot of Cajun food.
As much as you want. The scenario there is you just got to be careful what your gizzard will allow. I like Cajun food. It's like I always talk about. People remember, friends locally, we used to have some monster Super Bowl parties here in Crawfordsville. We just had some great, great, great Super Bowl parties with a lot of people and some incredibly great food. And I always used to make 2 or 3 or 4 crock pots of chili, and I made some exotic stuff. I made ostrich and one time, and I made shark one time, and I made shark, alligator.
Shark.
Oh yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
You can get shark. You can get shark meat. That actually made pretty good chili. I got some buffalo one time from some friends in South Dakota. Things like that. And then people brought a lot of But there again, I used to make hotter, and you take your chances kind of chili, but the problem is that I can still eat that stuff, but it just eats me up for about the next 2 days. So I just got to be a little bit more careful.
Okay, in the booth is Tom Brady working his first Super Bowl and a lot of speculation on Tom's future. I won't ask you about that, but what do you see as far as the impact of Tom Brady working a Super Bowl in the booth?
The impact is going to be how many different places, ways will they try and pull him? Everybody wants a piece of Tom Brady at some point in time, and so he and his people and Fox are going to have to just be extremely careful about how thin they stretch him, for appearances and all that kind of stuff like that. I mean, we've had the conversation. I mean, he may be a bigger story at media day than the players. Patrick Mahomes is there for the third time. Well, what questions? Oh, hey, Patrick, you're here for the Super Bowl. What do you think? Well, this and this and this and this, and Philadelphia's a great team, and we're going to go play. Oh, thanks. Hey, there's Tom Brady. What about, this is your first time doing this whole thing. So I'm not sure if they're going to set up a special place, for him to be. It's just like when he was a player. They had to set up a special booth and things like that. Tom has been talking about it for a long time. I know he's really looking forward to it, and he has really given us some incredible insights, about preparing for the playoffs and preparing for the postseason and he has amped up his intensity as a broadcaster, talking about how each level of the playoffs gets you to such rare air. When he talks about last week, he had this great little speech that he talked about, reaching the Super Bowl is such an incredible milestone for your life. Yes, it is for your team. It is for your professional. He said, but here's what happens. He said, the kids in your old high school all wear your jersey the week before the Super Bowl. He said, they have a pep rally at their old high school, about that. He said the impacts of it go way beyond just football. He said, because all these things just happen in your life. He said, and every single one of these guys on both teams, he said, once you've done it once or twice, or even like him 10 times, he said, there's still that incredible impact of all the world around you. And so you take all that and then take that times the fact that he's a broadcaster for the first time, and he's Tom Brady, or as I like to say, he's Tom flipping Brady, that, and he's going to be incredibly busy. And that will be his biggest challenge. He has figured out the broadcasting part of it, and because of Kevin Burkhardt's tutelage and Richie Zion's tutelage as a producer, he's gotten pretty darn good from week 1 to week 19, and so that part will not be a problem. We've seen Philly a couple times recently. We've seen Philly. We had Fox only had the Chiefs on once all year. We did that game. So we have seen, the Chiefs. And so the football part of it is really easy. It's the 1,400,000 distractions that have to be handled. And I know Kevin talked about that too. He said from the first Super Bowl that he did 2 years ago, he said, Jeff, in 2 years, he said, there's a whole bunch of things I'm going to do differently. Starting with, there's going to be a whole lot of things I'm not going to do. They're not going to make some of these other extra public appearances and stuff like that. He said, I just got to get zoned in. I got to get ready.
Now, as far as the announcers go, we always hear coaches, they work 20 hours a day, but how do announcers balance working that many hours versus looking fresh when they do the game?
Well, the familiarity is a gigantic piece, and that's a gigantic help. Like I said, we did Philly 2 of the last 3 weeks. So there's not a whole lot, these guys, I don't want to burst any bubbles. These guys aren't going to, they may put 1 20-hour day in somewhere, but for the most part, it's going to be, they're going to do most of their regular prep because it's what they have done for 19, 20, 21 weeks, and doing things a whole lot differently. I'm in the same boat, we don't have a game this weekend, but I'm going to go through and gather notes and gather a lot of I'm going to gather a lot of Super Bowl stuff this week. And like I was mentioning to you before we started the recorder, I got a 145-page Super Bowl media guide and record book. So I'm going to go through it. No, I'm not going to memorize it, but I'm going to go through and know where the chapters are, where it's about divided between both teams. So there's going to be a ton of stuff that are going to be Kansas City exclusive. and it's all Kansas City records, Kansas City playoff records, Kansas City regular records. And then there's going to be a ton of stuff that are Super Bowl records, so that we can break all those things down. The announcers have got the exact same thing. They know that they've got to be fresh and ready. They know that they've got to look good. They know that they've got to sound energetic. They will put in the regular amount of time plus a little bit more. The same thing. They'll have all their stuff on their teams. We'll have all that from the teams and from the league and from the network. And then there's the other things connected just to the Super Bowl. So, coaches will put in the 20-hour days because that's what they always do. And the announcers will put in 12, 13-hour days because that's what they always do.
Okay, I'm going to ask one geeky broadcast question.
Yeah.
Now, when the guys and the gals are like doing they do this little two-shot, and they're like looking forward, obviously, at the camera, and behind them is the arena, the stadium, right? Or whatever. Is that like a cleared out area that they go to?
Nope. They literally are in their broadcast positions.
They're turning around.
They literally
looking
turn
at
around
the camera.
turn around 180 degrees. There's a camera directly behind their backs. Because the problem is that you can't move these guys because there are audio and video and stage managers and stats guys, all over the place in the booth. You can't move them to another spot because what happens is that I'm going along. I'm writing down a running play or a passing play or a punt play or something like that or a turnover, and all of a sudden all the big lights go on. Well, I know that their guys are going on camera, so they don't have time to pick up from where they're going to go to a spot to look pretty on camera and move their tie, make their hair. And the other thing is they've got a bunch of wires and microphone cables and stuff hanging from them. So to take a step or two steps away, somebody would step on something and then their headphones would fall off, and there's not. So they can literally turn around, do that 1 or 2 seconds on camera, and they literally, the lights go off, they turn back around, call the next play.
And I guess when they do that, are they wearing their headsets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There will be, for the open, the start of the game, probably for halftime. They will then, when they have time for the audio people to set the stage, as they call it, they can take their headsets off, grab a handheld microphone, put their little earpiece in, and then look straight into the camera. But that was almost always pre-recorded, and almost always done when there's not going to be action just before or just after, because otherwise it just that amount of physical time, and then all of a sudden you bump something, you pull a cord cable, and all of a sudden, hey, my microphone doesn't work. So they don't do any of that anymore.
Okay, one more geeky question. I'm sorry. Now on Sunday Night Football and I think Monday Night Football, sometimes they have a backdrop.
Yes,
and the announcers are standing in front of that.
We've got one of those too. There, you'll see it, and depending on how they set it up in the booth, there is I think it's NBC's, is an LED screen so that they can put something different behind it. At Phoenix 2 years ago for the Super Bowl, we had that big LED screen because what they did is they could put something with the teams or a team, like when Kansas City won it, Kansas City Chiefs, then the champions, or they also had it available. They did several different sponsor things. They didn't necessarily do sponsor stuff live with the announcers, but they took a bunch of pictures. Hey, here's a that they use it for promotional pictures later on. Jersey Mike's, I remember them because they were one of our sponsors. They had a picture of Kevin and at that time Greg Olson standing there holding a Jersey Mike sandwich with a big Jersey Mike logo right behind him on this big LED screen. What we've normally had with Fox over the course of the last 3 years, at least with the A Crew, is it's just a very nicely printed hard screen. It's cloth, or very, very, very durable paper, and it's put on a frame, and then it sits behind them. And as you're looking out on the field's in front of you. Normally, that screen is to the announcer's right, off at a little bit of an angle, because then there's another camera that's literally right above my head in my stats position, and it shoots that cross court shot. Then the guys do have to move, but the scenario there is that's usually like if they come back from a commercial or something like that. And then that's also when they can involve Mike Pereira, because Mike is over there kind of almost behind that screen. So he can come out, then they can stand there, and then they've got the playoff game, and when we did the game of the week, we had the 4:00 game of the week. It said America's game, Cowboys and Redskins, or I'm sorry, not Redskins, Cowboys and Eagles, Cowboys and Giants, or whoever it was. It was always the Cowboys, it seemed like. And then there's that screen, so then they can use that as a backdrop. That shot gets used 2 or 3 times. It's a lot of work to put up a screen for 1 or 2 shots in the course of the day, but that's what they do.
And there is a game.
Yes, contrary to all of that, Yeah, Fox is flying. Is flying about 1,000 people out to New Orleans to do the exact same football game that we would do without those 1,000 people a couple of weeks ago.
Kansas City versus Philadelphia. Is Fox happy with this matchup?
Yes. There really isn't a bad Super Bowl matchup anymore, simply because the Super Bowl is so big. I think I told you, but I know that we would have loved to have had Detroit. We would have loved to have had Detroit, because not so much that there are great people in Detroit. Coaches are great, players are great. There's a lot of great folks, but they've never been there. And when you're there for 2 weeks, in the national media and the international media and everything like that, you run out of stories, you run out of angles. Going there for the first time is huge. It's something geeky. It's something neat. It's something big. It's something that everybody can kind of get a piece of. Same thing if Buffalo had gone, they would be playing for their, can they get over the hump? Can they get that first Super Bowl title, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Kansas City presents that once in history time. Nobody has three-peated. Nobody has ever won 3 Super Bowls in a row. There have been a couple teams that have been to the Super Bowl 3 times in a row, and of course, Buffalo went there 4 times in a row but lost all 4. So having Mahomes is always great. Having this three-peat opportunity is a great story. The Eagles are a really good story because they weren't very good last year. They had all kinds of issues last year. Saquon Barkley is such a great story. It's going to be his birthday on Super Bowl Sunday, by the way. So that, can he give himself a great big Super Bowl birthday present? Who knows? But they have played so well for almost the entire season, and they're a solid name. They're a solid fan base. They're solid, So we're very, 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 very happy with that. We're in Indiana, so we can say it. That they wouldn't have been real happy with Jacksonville or somebody like that. Not even even Houston. Just they're not very glitzy, at least not yet. But you take who you got. It's still a big game. It's still the game.
No doubt about it. Three-peat for Pat Mahomes. We were talking about him, and the fact that people even mention him with Michael Jordan,
right,
and some of the greats, and you mentioned Gretzky and all that, but all eyes on Mahomes this game.
There's no question about that, and I just kind of skipped away from that a little bit when talking about Bird Gretzky and him. He is the best quarterback playing right now. And if you're going to get compared to Tom Brady, who is arguably, the greatest quarterback of all time, he went to 10 Super Bowls and won 7, et cetera, et cetera. So there's certainly standards that you can say that's what he's going to his 5th. He will be the 3rd quarterback ever to have started 5 Super Bowls. Brady 10. Now him 5, and old what's his name from Denver. John Elway. Started 5 also. So nobody else is. And there's a lot. And he is starting his 5th, like 5 years younger than both. When Brady started his 5th and when Elway actually got into his 5th, so there is absolutely a very reasonable chance that that if the Chiefs or whoever he ends up, how long he plays with, for him to get to 7, 8, 9, 10 Super Bowls, absolutely possible. As good as he is,
definitely. So Philadelphia's offense. We talked about the bumper music, "Run Like Hell" from Pink Floyd, and then that was followed up by a long run for Barkley.
Really, really easy for anybody watching. If the Eagles can run the ball well or effectively, they will win the game, because they will then control the tempo of the game. They can control the pace and the factor of the game, because if you run the ball, but I'll tell you what, Kansas City's defense is geared to stop the run. And so it's all going to come down to that, because Jalen Hurts is an effective quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He doesn't. Tom goes into all kinds of instances and stuff about how the mechanics of his throwing and the routes he reads and things like that. Jalen Hurts is such a great quarterback for Philly because he can run the ball also. When he got hurt, when Hurts got hurt and couldn't run the ball, Philadelphia was way less effective offensively. So that's when the Super Bowl gets started and continues on. If the Eagles can't run the ball, they won't win the game. Simple as that. The Chiefs, are going to face the same thing because the Eagles' defense is better than Kansas City's, if that's possible. I already told a couple people. I said if this Super Bowl, it could be 7-3, it could be 6-3, or it could be 9-6. I mean, or it could be 33-35 like it was the last time they played. But I don't see it because these defenses are set up to stop people.
Kansas City versus Philadelphia in the big game. We know that Jeff will be there. We might hear your name. We might not.
Hope so. Hope at least once. Maybe even get my elbow on or something when I'm standing close to Kevin.
I always worry that I'm going to text you accidentally during a game or something like that. So
you can text away because I won't see it.
Don't worry about it. Okay.
People have said that all the time. Said, I don't want to interrupt you. You are not going to interrupt me in the middle of the Super Bowl. I guarantee you. If I got a second during a timeout, I might look down. But the scenario is that I've also got two guys that are fellow stats crew people. One works for Fox and one works for another network. They have both promised me that they are going to be watching the game with their books out, so they will text me some oddball. So if you hear some really, really, really random crazy thing on the Super Bowl, you say, well, Jeff may have found it himself, but he's got a couple of buddies that may have texted him. So.
Well, we have a special treat, segment 3. Segment 3 is what everybody lives for.
Exactly.
On the Crawfordsville Peachcast. It's going to be Nelson versus Peach. It's going to be a trivia contest. I've got 10 questions for you, 10 questions for me, a scoring system. Trivia time next on the Crawfordsville Peachcast. Central Indiana Rubber Products provides the power for you. Central Indiana Rubber Products, or CIR, keeps farm equipment and local manufacturing processes running with gaskets, belts, seals, and O-rings, among a variety of other products and services. Employee-owned and always customer-focused. Central Indiana Rubber Products, 989 West, 83 North, Crawfordsville, and at indianarubber.com. Central Indiana Rubber Products, or CIR, power for you. Dave Peach here with Brandon Kappas from BK Home Improvement. And Brandon, you have an exciting announcement.
Yes, Dave, thank you. We are excited to announce Zahn's Floor Covering is now Zahn's Flooring and Design Center, acquired by BK Home Improvement.
I understand Bob Zahn will be staying to help.
We are excited to have that, and absolutely, Zahn's Flooring and Design Center is happy to have Bob Zahn still involved in that same local presence they're used to dealing with.
There has been a little confusion. BK Home Improvement is not affiliated with BK Painting or BK Property Management. You are located at your headquarters in Lebanon, Indiana.
Yes, we are excited to expand both brand names inside of both markets for Lebanon and Crawfordsville. Please come visit our showroom at 310 North Green Street, as we will consistently be redesigning and offering new, innovative products and technologies.
And you are still going to say,
Zahn's Flooring and Design Center. We are everywhere you walk.
It's time for Football Trivia War. It's Dave Peach against Jeff Nelson. Here is your first question.
Wait a minute. Now, we haven't even given the rules.
Oh, okay.
I made up the rules. All my answers will be right. Jeff's will be wrong. No.
There we go.
Okay, now, here's the deal. You get the question. If you get it right the first time, you get 7 points.
Okay.
If you get it right the second time, you get 3 points.
Okay.
10 questions each. This is from a 1998 Sports Illustrated trivia game that will go to the Goodwill right after this.
So Kurtis has 20 cards. One question for you, one question for me. So we're not racing to answer the same question.
Correct.
All right.
Correct. Okay. Correct. Here's Kurtis. Okay.
Okay.
Start with me.
All right, Dave. Who coached Alabama to the 1992 National College Football Championship?
That's a college question. 1992. I'm going to go with Gene Stallings.
That is correct.
Yes.
7 points.
Thank you. Okay.
Do you want to go back and forth, or
Yeah.
Okay? All right.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. Let's see.
I'm up 7-0.
Yes, indeed.
All right, Jeff. Who was the NFL's Rookie of the Year and Most Valuable Player in 1978?
78. Would that have been am I too early for Emmitt Smith?
It's Earl Campbell.
Wait. He had a chance to get a second guess.
Oh, do you,
Well, that's okay. Well,
Okay, let's
I'll
throw the
yield.
question out. We're going to give Jeff. Well, wait. Let's give him. What do we do? Okay, that was a warm-up round. We'll play 9 rounds.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
That, the tiebreaker.
Take my 7 off the board.
No.
Yes.
The tiebreaker is 7 because you did get it right on the first question, and I missed on the first one. So if we get to a tiebreaker, you win on that tiebreaker.
All right. There we go. All right. Who was the football commissioner who negotiated the 1966 NFL-AFL merger, Jeff?
Pete Rozelle.
That is correct.
Okay, you got 7. Oh, I guess that was mine. Okay. Just keep asking questions, Kurtis. We'll figure out a winner later.
Okay, here we go. Dave, who scored the winning touchdown in the 1958 NFL championship game?
These are too easy. Alan Amici.
That is correct. All right. Jeff, which NFL team drafted John Elway?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, it started with Baltimore.
That's right.
Yes,
You got
the
it correct.
Baltimore Colts.
Man, this is Sports Illustrated. Okay, go ahead.
Let's see here. Which team exploded for 35 points in the second quarter of Super Bowl 22?
I'm going to go with Washington.
That is correct.
Yes.
All right, here we go. You're marking down the score.
I think it's going to be like figure skating. We'll just give scores at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
At least we got formation.
I am having a good time, though.
Yes.
All right, Jeff. Which Green Bay Packers scored an NFL record 176 points in 1960?
Paul Hornung.
That is correct.
Don't mess around with us old guys.
Yes.
All right, Dave. Who was the first player in NFL history to score 2,000 points?
Okay, the first player in NFL history to score 2,000 points. Okay, I'm going to go with Morton Anderson.
That is not correct.
He
You got one more. You got one more
shot at
this
it.
is for the conversion.
I'm going to go with. It's too early. This game was developed in 1998, so I guess 2,000 points. I'm just going to throw in Jan Stenerud.
That is not correct.
Did George Blanda?
George Blanda. That's right.
I get one point for a mop on it.
He gets a rouge. It's a Canadian.
That's it.
All right, Jeff.
So Dave gets a 0 over here.
That's
I got a 0.
yeah.
I think I'm behind.
Yeah. Okay. Jeff, who was the only other running back to win the NFL rushing title during Jim Brown's 9-year career?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
I love that question.
Yeah. During his era, I'm going to go with Tom Maddie.
That is not correct.
Okay. From that era, boy, that's going to be, we got to, boy.
This one's kind of weird because it features the name and the year.
Yeah. Trying to, boy. I'm going to run out of time, too.
Do we have time?
It's a podcast. We can't be on forever.
Do we have a
Understand?
timer?
I will pass. I'll just say I don't know.
It is Jim Taylor, 1962.
I didn't realize he ran for that many yards.
All right, back to it. Dave, who was the first NFL coach to win division titles with 3 different teams?
The first to win 3 different teams. Oh.
I can give you a hint if you
No, I don't want a hint.
All right.
Okay, 1998, 3 different teams. This is hard. It's too early for Parcells. Who coached multiple teams in 1998? Who was a guy that went around to different teams? I don't think it was Marty Schottenheimer. I'm gonna go. I know it's early, but I'm just gonna throw out Dan Reeves.
Dave, you're not correct. You got one more.
Okay, one more shot. Maybe Jeff knows. Who coached more than one? I have trouble figuring out who coached more than one. I know George Allen. I mean Tom Landry. Who was around? It cannot be. I don't think it can be Bill Parcells, but I'll say Bill Parcells.
Not correct.
Who is it?
It is
Dick Vermeil?
for the L.A. Rams, for the Buffalo Bills, and the Seattle Seahawks.
Chuck
Knox.
There we go.
Bitter.
Yes.
Oh, I know. Really tough game. Okay.
I knew it wasn't the ones I was guessing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeff, this is going to be very specific. Okay. Name the Buffalo Bills' place kicker who missed the potential game-winning field goal in Super Bowl 25.
Wide right, Scott Norwood.
Scott Norwood is correct.
I should have got Chuck Knox. Go ahead.
All right, let's see here. Okay. Okay. Who was the first NFL player to gain at least 1,000 yards rushing and receiving in the same season?
Rushing and receiving in the same.
Same season, yep.
Paul Hornig.
That is not correct.
Rushing and receiving. Thurman Thomas.
Not correct. It is Roger Craig.
Okay.
Obvious.
Yeah.
I'm no good at this.
Okay, Jeff. Who set an NFL record by passing for 4 touchdowns and intercepting 4 passes in one game?
Passed for 4 and grabbed 4.
No.
Passing for 4 and intercepting for 4.
Oh, had 4 intercepted. Okay.
Yeah.
4 and 4. The first quarterback to do that. Could be a long ago. Since we're talking old, I'll say Sammy Baugh.
That is correct.
Now, wait a minute. You guys have gone over this before. No.
It seems rigged, but trust me.
No.
I swear I have never seen these questions before today.
Okay. Let's see.
back.
Okay, this one could be a little, I'm not sure. Name the L.A. Rams' defensive linemen who were known as the Fearsome Foursome.
All 4 of them?
I got to name all 4.
Yes.
Deacon Jones.
Mhm.
Merlin Olsen.
Yes. 2 more.
My goodness. Jack Snow.
No.
No, he was Minnesota.
No, he was a defensive back.
Defensive back. Okay.
You still got this?
Merlin Olsen, Deacon Jones, Rosie Greer. No, he's Baltimore.
Yes.
No,
Oh,
he was
what's
one.
Rosie?
He was
Okay,
one.
Rosie
Yeah.
Greer. Yeah, like I said, it was Rosie Greer.
Yeah, that's right.
And
he says emphatically.
I'm just going to say Jack Reynolds.
No.
No?
You still, I say you still got 7 points, but this is the last chance to name the last one.
I should know it. I'm drawing up. I guess I didn't know. Who is it?
Lamar Lundy.
Lamar Lundy.
Lamar Lundy. I would never have gotten that.
How about
That
this?
was not in my mind.
That's a different one. So would you still get the 7
No,
points?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Who coached Nebraska to consecutive national football championships in 1970 and 1971, Jeff?
That would be Tom Osborne, who went on to become a congressman from Nebraska.
Sound really confident, but that is not correct.
Oh, it's Bob Devaney.
That is correct.
Bob
yes,
Devaney.
Bob Devaney.
Yeah.
You sound so confident.
Yeah. Because they both won
He
back
went,
to back.
he went mid-contemporary and got burned.
Yeah.
Okay, Dave. Okay. Who coached Notre Dame to 4 national football championships during the 1940s?
Okay. the 40s.
Yes.
I am going to go with Frank Leahy.
That is correct.
Yep.
All right. Are you even keeping score?
No.
Yeah, he has.
I think
We're
I
just going
missed
down
2.
the
Jeff
line.
has missed 1.
Okay. Okay, Jeff. Name the quarterback who completed 22 of 25 pass attempts in Super Bowl 21.
21. Because you just had the Washington guy with all those points, and the one before that. Oh man, I'm going to say Roger Staubach.
That is not correct. Got one more.
Yeah. Bob Greasy.
It is.
I know who it is. It's Phil Simms.
It is Phil Simms.
Okay.
Okay, Dave. Who was Notre Dame's first football All-America? Going back to Notre Dame again.
George Gipp.
That is correct. There you go.
Very good.
You're catching up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, Jeff. Name the only Super Bowl most valuable player who did not play for the winning team.
Yeah, he played for the Cowboys. He was a linebacker, and I'm just trying to remember
Cowboys,
his name.
correct.
Yeah, Cowboys. He was a linebacker. It was a real early. It was like Super Bowl V. And I can't think of his name. Got all the rest of it. They even wore their blue uniforms that year. That's why they lost, because they weren't wearing their whites. Chuck Howey.
That is correct.
Last question.
Last question. Okay. Let's see. Trying to pick a good one here. Okay. Back to Notre Dame again. Who won 3 national championships at Notre Dame and 3 NFL titles with the Detroit Lions?
Wait a minute. Okay, let me get 3 with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yep.
And 3
so he moved on and went pro to
coach or player?
I believe player.
3 with the Lions?
Yeah, they won 3 back in the 50s.
Wow.
I believe it's a player.
Man. Notre Dame player that won 3 with the Lions. Oh, man.
Yes, yes, it's a player. Yep.
It's not George Gipp.
No.
Man, I can't. I'm drawing a blank on this one, too. Who played for Notre Dame? Probably Newt Rockne. Who was a?
Yeah, I don't know if he ever played. I don't know if he ever played NFL football.
Well, that's
though.
what I meant. I mean, who he
Yeah.
must have maybe played for Newt Rockne or Frank Leahy. I really don't have a guess. Who is it?
You want to go all in? Okay.
Yeah.
It's Leon Hart. You're drawing a
Would
blank?
have guessed a long time before
I
we
would
come
have
up
been
with that.
here for a day and a half and
Yeah.
not got Leon Hart.
I'd have needed a
Wow.
a
Now
list of
that
names.
is that's like that Jim Taylor question.
Yeah, he
That's
had
good
to
to
have
know.
been. Yeah, he had to have been a lineman. I just don't remember him at all. So okay,
Okay. Final question for Jeff.
Congratulations.
And Jeff, if you get this question correct, you win.
Okay. We're going to the Cleveland Browns. Who was the Cleveland quarterback who led the Browns to 10 championship games?
yeah, I can picture him, and that's championship games, not championships, because they went to a lot of AFC championship games, and there was a stretch. Lost to Denver a couple times at least.
No, you won it, right? What's the question again?
Who was the Cleveland quarterback who led the Browns
Led the Browns to 10
to 10
championship.
championship games?
It's not.
Frank Ryan.
That is not correct. One more chance.
Oh man, it wasn't. I want to say Sammy Bob didn't. He didn't play for the Lions, did he?
This is Cleveland. This is Cleveland.
It's Cleveland. Yeah.
Cleveland, yeah.
Ball played for the Chicago. All right, I'll let it go.
I'm going to go Otto Graham.
It is Otto
I
Graham.
was Otto. Okay, it was prior. It was okay. I was thinking championship-like appearances, but autographed. Okay.
I'm gonna give Jeff Nelson the win, and thanks for
Barely.
playing. Yes.
Barely.
Yeah, he did a great job hosting, Kurtis.
Absolutely
thank
great job,
you,
Kurtis.
thank
Yep.
you.
I think it's closer
Football
to a
Trivia
tie.
I'm gonna get a Leon Hart jersey and wear it.
I'm gonna put it right
Leon,
next
Leon
to my
Hart.
Jim Taylor one.
Yeah, I need that. But this is the Crawfordsville Peach Cast, the first ever trivia war. Good job hosting, Kurtis. Jeff, have fun at the Super Bowl. We are sponsored by Tri-County Bank, your community bank since 1892. Central Indiana Rubber. We'll get to Hello Todd. Also, Zahn's Flooring and Design Center. And the good folks at BK Home Improvement. Central Indiana Rubber. Power for you. 1, 2, 3, everybody.
Hello, Todd.
Thanks for listening to the Crawfordsville Peach Cast, sponsored by Tri-County Bank, your community bank since 1892. Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. I'm Dave Peach. Join us every Thursday for a new episode on Apple or Spotify. Please like, subscribe, and download the Crawfordsville Peach Cast. This podcast was produced and edited by Up There Media and is a presentation of Fork Broadcasting Digital.